Tell me about the worst sex you've ever had.
When we're like just getting through it, she leans into my ear and she asks me to crow.
Did you do it?
Yes, I crowed.
What's the worst sex you've ever had?
Oh.
Ooh.
Should I really have to describe it?
The worst sex I've ever had.
I don't know, there's a lot of experiences that I truly despise.
In my phone, I have a little black book. There's a person in there that says the worst I've ever had.
Everybody's answer is like when they lost their virginity.
My first time.
Probably the first time, actually.
The first time?
I had no clue what was happening. There was a lot of jabbing.
I'm gonna have sex with your butt, and then you're gonna have sex with my butt. I would never do that again.
Volatile combination of excited and anxious.
What's the worst sex you've ever had?
Having sex. I've always just thought of like, damn, that's an hour. Like, wish I was watching anime or something.
Never had bad sex.
Sex is pretty fun.
I don't really have bad sex.
Did I hear you say you've never had bad sex?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty phenomenal, so it's hard for me to have had bad sex.
Do you think you've had bad sex? Because some people have been like, I don't fuck bad.
Yeah, you know what? And a lot of people that do that definitely have a story out there. Because they might have been like, yeah, and then the person just hands on their face on the end of the bed, like, never again.
Worst sex you've ever had?
I had some really bad sex with one of my coworkers.
The guy that I dated that was like my brother.
I hate to say this, it was the only white guy I've ever been with.
A man with a very large penis who thought he could just kind of like lay there and just have a large penis.
I felt like we actually both didn't really want to be doing it.
What's the worst sex you've ever had?
The worst?
Worst sex I've ever had.
I've never had sex.
With my ex.
With an ex.
My ex.
First husband.
My second husband.
What was bad about it?
The rhythm, IKEA bed, it was just like moving the opposite way that he was.
They were really, really bad at what they were trying to do and way too confident about it.
Were you able to communicate that to that?
No, at that point I just kind of wanted to get out of there.
You do what you see on porn, that's still not correct. You still gotta like pay attention to your partner.
If you don't like warm me up to being interested and then you just stick it in and jackrabbit for like 2 minutes and then you're out, like what the hell did I get from that?
I think it's been years ago, and it was a guy who basically was a bunny rabbit.
Men don't know how to fuck.
What's the most embarrassed you've been?
Finishing before your partner dies is pretty embarrassing.
Bust a little too quick. Short and sweet.
Did she come?
Probably not.
Met this girl on Tinder. We're about to perform coitus, and she's like, all right, like, do you have a condom? And I said, no, I don't have a condom. Do you like mind doing this, Rod? She's like, no, of course, like whatever, just make sure you pull out. And right as I inserted, I was like, yeah, no, I can't do it because I was about to bust. I always think about that probably every time I close my eyes.
Whose fault was it?
Probably me, honestly. I was exhausted from a long day of work, and I fell asleep. During.
After we hooked up, as he was leaving my place, he's like, maybe I'm not gay. I'm like, jeez, I'm out. There's not enough M&Ms and pizza in the world to salve that wound, you know?
What's the most embarrassed you've been?
Went from a strong situation to a no-win situation.
His penis went soft.
I was on the verge of tears.
That joint ain't want to come up, man. And every time he came up, I'll get it in for a little second, and he'll fall back down.
How did they react?
It's okay, don't worry. We'll try to get next time.
Worst sex you've ever had?
In high school?
High school. It was probably high school.
High school in a car.
He was super hot, drove a Mustang. Worst sex I've ever had.
I felt like a dead fish, and he was just kind of like pouncing on me.
You're young, you don't really fully know what you're doing. You just kind of thrust and you just call that good.
What's the worst sex you've ever had?
I farted in someone's face through order, and she stopped, and I had to finish it myself.
Once, I let somebody peg me. It felt amazing, and as muscles do, it contracted and released, and I shit, okay? Shit is normal.
I recently found out about the things called douches. Didn't know I had to do that.
Let's just say she was very unhealthy and did not take care of her body.
Oh, Shorty took off her pants. It didn't smell too nice.
It was a definite hygiene issue.
Did you guys ever have sex again?
No.
Nope.
No, I told him, it's like, this ain't working.
I don't know if I want to go to detail, but it was a little awkward, yeah.
That was terrible.
I'm out of here.
There was like no focus on anyone having a, happy ending.
Did you have sex with this person ever again?
I think we did, yeah.
I did. I dated them for a bit of time. I had to teach them. Let's just say they weren't a very good peer. They weren't a very good student.
What's the worst sex you've ever had?
It was the first time I'd ever seen like a, I don't know like the right way to say this, a micro penis.
And he wanted to top.
I couldn't feel it, but I figured out that sex doesn't always hurt.
What's the worst sex you ever had?
Probably like a very sloppy drunken sex, to be honest.
I was drunk.
I ended up throwing up in the bed during, so that kind of sucked.
Do you have sex with him again?
Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, so you believe in second chances.
Everybody deserves a second chance.
And then I came.